Are you curious why hyper and hypopigmentation happens? Has it ever happened to your skin before? If so, today's video will be all about why it happens, how the mechanism of it works, and how we can solve it. So I hope you enjoy today's video. In this video, my naturopath on my team, Ben, he shares with one of our clients why it happens and he actually draws it out. So I hope it helps you.
When she's dry, she gets itchy. What happens is that the dryness impairs the skin barrier. So the skin barrier has a lot of these small like cracks or holes. So there's leaky skin. The leaky skin then causes inflammation, and I think there's some residual inflammation in the skin. So leaky skin then causes the itchy skin and causes inflammation. And when there's inflammation, then the skin cannot repair itself adequately because the skin is always fighting against the inflammation. And you recall we had the elevator concept where the skin has actually 6 layers. And when the top layer is constantly in a battle with the dryness, the itching and the inflammation, the bottom layer cannot come up and mature properly. And that's when the hypopigmentation begins, or even the hyperpigmentation, because there's always inflammation here. And
what's the difference between one and the other, the hypo and hyper?
Yeah, so the hyperpigmentation is often when the top layer is too dry and it gets stuck.
Okay.
It's like an accumulation of the dead skin cells and it gets stuck there. And the more skin cells accumulate, the more dry and darken it is, because the elevator goes up, and it's stuck. The top layer can't shed because it's stuck. It's dry and it becomes hardened, and therefore it becomes thick, like a sandpaper consistency. So the hyperpigmentation is because the skin cells on top become stuck and hardened. Now the hypopigmentation, oftentimes when there's scratching, the scratching literally also scratches off the skin cells, and then the bottom skin cells come up too early and they are immature.
Okay.
And when they're immature, then they haven't had a chance for the melanin pigments to come in. And melanin is the one that makes the skin more tan. So to answer your question in brief, hyperpigmentation is because the top skin cells are too thick for accumulating a lot of dead skin cells. The hypopigmentation is because the bottom skin cells are maturing too quickly, and partly because the scratching exposes a lot of the immature skin cells because it sloughs off the top layer of the skin cells. That said, if we address the skin hydration, we will address both the hypo and hyperpigmentation at the same time, because with the skin being hydrated, the top layer, the excess skin cells can shed more easily, because if it's moist, it comes off easily because it doesn't become thick and hardened anymore. If the skin cells, and if it's moist, then it also addresses the hypopigmentation because there's less scratching, less inflammation, and therefore there's a normal maturing of the skin cells, and there isn't early maturation of the skin cells or the premature skin cells coming up. So we address both things at the same time.
Okay, sounds good.
Hypopigmentation is the accumulation of the skin cells, what I call the keratinocytes. These are the top layer of the skin cells accumulates, therefore becomes darkened and hardened. Now, sorry, this is hyperpigmentation. And the hypopigmentation is where the inflammation causes the immature skin cells to be exposed, if you put it this way, or
resurface too fast.
Exactly, resurface too fast, you love it too fast. So that's a reason. But the cause of these is still the same. One cause, there are many causes of this, but one cause of this is still the same, which is the dry skin. So yeah, so have I answered your question before I move on?
Yes, and you know what's funny, that Emma's condition, this is how it started. Like, she has this dry spots that when we took her to that it will become itchy, and then when we took her to the dermatologist, that's when we went into the steroids, just because. So it's funny that I'm thinking, maybe the issue was not really, like, there was no need of steroids to start with the proper approach. And also I know we had to work on her gut too, and her diet, but the problem could be solved as easy as just giving the body what it needed, mineral deficiencies, change in diet, and addressing this dryness, which caused inflammation and itchiness. So the problem became a lot worse when we introduced the steroids.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, steroids actually impair the skin's collagen. So we discussed here about the keratinocyte proliferation. Actually, steroids impair that, and steroids actually impair the skin's collagen formation. So it actually makes the skin more thin, more weak.
Yes.
And we discussed the skin has 6 layers, but the steroids actually flatten many of these layers. It impairs the thickness of what we call the fibroblasts. Fibroblasts are the skin's tissues that produce collagen. So with the fibroblasts being impaired, then it can't produce as much collagen and get thin. And the thin skin becomes even more white because it's,
And we went through that process of seeing her skin very thin, that when she scratched, she will cut herself right away. And then it went through that process of the elephant skin, where it was very hard, and then it became soft. So her skin right now, it's pretty soft.
Yeah, so to also summarize what you said, this is a cycle. Dry skin lets allergens in. There are many immune cells in the skin, and these immune cells send signals. It says that there's an attack, that the house is under fire, let us release inflammation, and then it causes the itch scratch cycle, and then that's how it starts. So the dryness and the skin barrier is almost always, not almost, but it's very often the first point of the first trigger, because if your fortress is strong, the enemies cannot come in, and the enemies can't come in, then there's no war to fight. So today's aim we can do for we seal off, we strengthen her fortress wall. If her wall is strong, then there's no itching, no scratching.
I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget that you can always visit my website, eczemaconquers.com, to learn more. And you can also visit my website to get my free guide on 6 ways to clear eczema naturally. Whenever you feel like it, you can always book a complimentary breakthrough call with one of the eczema advisors on my team, who can help you audit your healing plan and let you know if you're missing anything on your journey. We look forward to helping you, and my goal is to equip you and empower you so that you can get rid of the eczema flares and overcome this. Thank you for watching.